What's going on, guys? What's going on, guys? What is going on, guys? What is going on? Why are the weekdays always so short? What's going on, guys? Devin, what's going on? Liver ticked, what's going on? Natalie, look left, good to see you guys. Did I go to college? I did. What's going on, guys? Gonna give everybody a few minutes to get in here. LD, what's going on, my brother? Good to see you. What is going on, guys? Good evening. Good evening. Just had some dinner. What's going on? Solid Nate. Paul, what's going on, guys? Good to see everyone. Gonna give kind of everybody a minute to get rolling in here. Mid-Coast Traders, what's going on? Tom, what's going on? Did I shoot under 90 this weekend? I did not play golf this weekend. I just soaked up some sun, relaxed, did some work, you know. Had to get some stuff done today and this weekend. What's going on, guys? Good evening. Happy Sunday night, and big dub for the 76ers today. Huge dub. My Celtics blew it. Blows. What's going on, guys? Good evening. Happy Sunday, guys. Gonna give everybody a couple minutes to roll in here. Yeah, I like that. It's going to be a close game. Phoenix and Denver. Just had some really good dinner, though. Had a BLT, had some thick cut bacon on it. Absolutely gas. You take the request at the end, like PBLY. Yeah, so I'm going to kind of go through what the stream is going to look like, but just kind of letting everybody get in first. It's 9:07 Sunday night. Going to get everybody a couple minutes to kind of come on in. If you guys want to do me a huge favor, please don't forget, just throw a like on the stream if you enjoy these, want me to keep doing them. Definitely allows us to kind of keep doing the streams, guys, making the YouTube content even better. So just toss a like right down below. It takes like 2 seconds. We did 200 likes last time almost. So we're going to try to top that this time. We had an awesome stream this past Wednesday, or Tuesday night, into Wednesday for FOMC. I'm not sure if you guys tuned in for that, but it was really fun. Alfred, what's going on? Devin, good to see everybody in the live chat, guys. Giving everybody just a couple minutes to kind of roll on in here. The Prudential Building in Boston has green lights. What's going on, CA? Tom, good to see everybody. Just getting the link posted everywhere. Apologies, guys. What's going on, guys? Good evening. What is going on, guys? Good to see everybody. Good to see everybody. All right, guys, we're going to kind of get it started in about 1 minute here. I'm trying to just give everybody a couple minutes to hop on in. I know it's a little bit later on a Sunday night. I know there's some good NBA basketball on, but we've got a big week in store, so I think this is going to be an exciting week for sure. A lot going on. I know everybody really seems to love these public streams, so really going to try to keep doing more of these and definitely, obviously, keep up the content. So we had a really awesome stream this past week. Question before you start, how do I choose my strike price? I usually like to play either at the money or close or in the money, honestly, as of late. Like usually like right at the money. If I'm trading like QQQ, for example, like, you know, if I'm trading and QQQ's at 323 right now, like I'd probably be looking at the 321 puts or 322 puts or like the 324, 325 calls for like 1 or 2 days out. Yeah, it does seem like that. That's the kind of market we're in. Seems like every week there's something big for sure. All right, guys. So we are going to go ahead and get started. It is 9:10. We're going to kind of start going over things. There's a few things that I do kind of want to go over. What's going on, David? Good to see you guys in the stream as always, guys. I really appreciate everybody tuning in per usual. So like I said, we've got a huge week ahead, guys. Obviously, CPI this upcoming Wednesday. Thank you guys again for tuning into the Sunday Market Scan, guys. I'm going to try to do a few more of these public streams on Sunday nights. We're going to go through basically exactly what I'm looking at for the early part of this week, so Monday and Tuesday. I'm going to go through, first off, kind of what we have on the agenda for this week quickly, and then I'm going to cover 3 charts that I really like. I'm going to cover the S&P 500. I'm going to cover Tesla, and I'm going to cover Meta. And then at the end, I'll do a little bit of Q&A, and we can also kind of work in some questions if you guys have any the last 10, 15 minutes. So we're definitely going to kind of get started here. The big catalyst, obviously, like I said, this week, guys, is going to be we've got a pretty big week in terms of CPI, right? However, I think that what could overshadow that is this. This is a big week because over the weekend, guys, there was a Times article that was published that said that JP Morgan analysts have basically conveyed that they believe the U.S. will actually take the steps towards a short selling ban on bank stocks. Now, this is a big deal, right? We have not seen something like this since 2008, since the great financial crisis, right? And the point of this short selling ban is supposed to prevent further contagion, right, and stabilize banking stocks, right, to prevent further contagion within the banking sector. However, the reason that I want to talk about this and why I think it's such a big catalyst for the overall market and possibly, you know, bigger than CPI, bigger than PPI, bigger than, you know, jobless claims is because when we saw this happen in 2008, guys, we saw a massive move down in the market very shortly thereafter, right? And this is the main problem with this short selling ban that they are proposing, right? Or saying is you know, coming in the near future. The fact is that if you need one side in order for the other side to work. So let me put it very simply. If you are long on a stock, you should actually want a higher level of short interest, because if you are correct and the stock price starts to go up, those shorts are going to need to buy to cover. So they are going to need to buy shares in order to exit their position, which is only going to increase the velocity and the speed and just the overall powerful upside move, you want shorts to be in there. You need shorts, in fact, for that trade to work for you if you are long on a stock. And the same thing goes if you are short. If you are short on a stock and they took away the buying button and you had no new longs, that means that you have no new selling pressure in order to make the trade go in your favor, right? As a short, you want to see longs that are either over leveraged or trapped because it's only going to increase selling pressure. You need one side in order to make the other side work. So at the end of the day, guys, I want to identify this because I really think that there's not a way in which if this happens, it ends well for the overall market. So I do want to kind of point that out. This is probably one of the things that I'm going to be watching the closest this upcoming week, guys. Frankly, because it's just a huge catalyst for the overall market. Like I said, we haven't seen something like this take place since 2008. And I think this is definitely something that you want to keep very high on your radar because if we start hearing rumblings of this advancing, I think you're going to see it show in the market, right? So definitely something I just wanted to kind of quickly talk about and identify there. It's definitely a big deal, right? So now let's get back to the technicals a little bit, right? This is definitely going to be a very interesting week in terms of market technicals, right? We're looking at the QQQ weekly chart. I'm going to cover the S&P, but I wanted to kind of quickly show you guys the QQQ weekly. A lot of relative strength within tech because we're seeing the S&P 500 weaker. I do want to talk about the S&P 500 though primarily tonight, even though I have really been trading the Qs the most. We're kind of at the top of this range on QQQ, and with tech being stronger, the trade that I would kind of look at off of the short selling ban on U.S. bank stocks would actually be more towards the S&P 500, right? Because it does have those exposure, that exposure to financials, right? We've got this very interesting weekly setup, right, where we've got these very long lower wicks on the S&P 500. So clearly buyers have been present. It's almost an exact replica of our candle last week, right? Like look at the last week's candle, look at this week's candle, right? We double bottomed it at that 404 area, and then we bounced right back up to the top of the range, right? So if you guys don't know me, the way that I prepare on Sunday nights, which is the whole entire point of this stream, right, is basically I'll start at the weekly chart, move to the daily chart, and then go to the hourly. And the hourly chart is really my bread and butter. My bread and butter. It's really my Bible in terms of intraday levels that I'm going to be looking at. I am an hourly pivot trader, level to level, just very clean, very simple, zero, if not minimal indicators. So I think that I really kind of want to identify that as, okay, right, we have this very clean setup in terms of the S&P 500 weekly, right? We've got really clear support at that 403 zone into 404, right? We saw that get soaked literally at the same spot back-to-back weeks. You can see the double bottom if you zoom out on the hourly, right, or the 4-hour really. If you look at the S&P 500 4-hour, which is also an underrated time frame, check out the S&P 500 4-hour, right? We've got just a really clear double bottom here, right? You can see we bounced at 404 or 403.78 on the 26th of April, and we bounced at 403.74, so just shy of that on the 4th of May, right? May the 4th be with you, right? Any Star Wars people out there? I've actually never watched Star Wars, but I know the May the 4th be with you reference, so we're going to go ahead and roll with it. We're improvising on the stream. Sunday Night Man, Sauce Boy, what's up? Tom, what's going on? CA, Solid Nate, what's going on, guys? Good to see everybody in the live chat, guys. If you're tuning into the stream, welcome. If it's your first time, please make sure you guys do slam that like button for me. That allows us to keep doing these streams, guys. Really appreciate everybody tuning in late on a Sunday night. We're definitely getting up there in terms of viewers in the chat, so really appreciate everybody tuning in. We're kind of covering the potential, replications if we do see that short selling ban catalyst come to light this week. Going over the S&P 500 hourly levels if you guys are really using and following along with me. So, yep, I'm going to take some questions at the end, guys. So I'm going to try to kind of work through this as efficiently as possible. So I'm going to take some questions at the end. You're welcome to ask me them in the live chat. I'll answer any quick questions I can. But some of those bigger questions, right, like where do I enter, why, etc., I can try to cover those at the end. And do keep in mind, guys, I stream live every single day in the Discord, every single morning. And then every morning from 9:30 until 11, we're live trading. So if you have questions That's honestly probably the best time to ask me, is, going to be in the Discord and stuff like that. So just do keep that in mind, that on the streams, the public streams, I'm going to try to work through things as efficiently as I can, just so we don't waste a ton of time. But again, going to do questions at the end for the last 15 minutes. So like I said, guys, the hourly is really where I draw a lot of my conviction from, right? I personally like entries off the 5 and the 15 intraday, but these hourly levels, I personally just believe it's the best time frame to source those support and resistance spots and those key pivots, right, which are going to draw in those larger moves. So on the hourly chart on the S&P, and really even on that 4-hour look, right, we've definitely got some resistance into that 413 level. Right, you can see these larger wicks on the 4-hour, right? We wicked up to that 414 spot, and now we are, and after we wicked up to that 414 spot, right, that was, if I'm not mistaken, FOMC. We see the big move down, right? So really that 414 area was that high from FOMC, right? 413.86, and we tested that on Friday, right? So 413.76, we came within 10 cents shy of that level and that high that we made on the 3rd, right? So really going to be paying attention to see if we can clear that level. Personally, I'm only going to be looking at longs if we close an hourly candle above that 413.84, and ideally a 4-hour close would be even more ideal, right? Personally, guys, if we do see that short selling band catalyst come to light this week, my focus is probably and really going to be on the S&P 500 on the short side. That's definitely going to be, in my opinion, we would see an initial pop across the banking sector for sure. Some of those initial covers that come in, since you're not allowed to open any new ones, I think you'd probably see a lot of existing covers close. And then I would be probably looking to, utilize the S&P 500 for short exposure on the way down. So the big levels that I'm watching this week is going to be that 410 zone. And again, that really important 4-hour high from the 3rd, right? At that 413.84 level, 413.86 level on the 4-hour. I do like longs if we can break above and close on the hourly. However, like I said, I would not be surprised to at least see a retest of this 410.50 to 411.15 zone, right? That's definitely going to be a spot I'm watching. What's going on, W-Mans? Appreciate it. Michael, what's going on, guys? CA, what's going on? Good to see everybody in the live chat, guys. Appreciate you guys all saying what's up. Hopefully everybody's having a good Sunday night. We're doing S&P 500 levels right now. And kind of just getting into it. We're going to cover a few more. Do I recommend Webull for beginners? I do. I think Webull is the best beginner options trader platform, just purely from a perspective of it's very user-friendly. The graphics and UI is very clean. And I think the ease of use, the fills are not bad, right? Low commissions compared to like TD, right? So TD is like 60 cents a fill. You can get it down to like 50. But personally, I think, Webull, it's like a fractions of pennies or like a penny per contract, right? So definitely in terms of the expensive contracts, I think Webull is elite. What's going on, Andrew? Good to see you guys in the chat, guys. Really appreciate everybody tuning in. I know it's Sunday night. I know there's good basketball on, but hopefully you guys all had a good weekend. I said that if I wanted to take longs on the S&P 500, I'm speaking in terms of right now, right? I would be looking for an hourly close over 413.84, right? I'm saying tomorrow, I'm not talking about entries. I'm talking about in general, right? I look at the 5 and 15 minute intraday off of the open, first hour, right? If I'm scalping on shorter time frames, I'm insinuating that I'm using the 5 and the 15 minute, right? In terms of entries, right? I said that I'm garnering my levels coming into the day from the hourly, right? So I just wanted to clarify that. That was a quick question in the chat. So like I said, I kind of want to cover my top focus setups outside of the S&P 500. Are you able to watch this after the stream? Yes, you can watch this stream. It is going to be recorded. I'm going to post a link to the recording on my primary Twitter after we are done. And you can come back and watch this anytime you'd like. So, yeah, of course. And so like I said, guys, S&P 500, those are the levels that I'm really going to be looking at, 410.50, and then that 4-hour high, which was that 413.84 spot. Personally, I'm not really planning on trading the indices much prior to CPI, right? Unless we get some type of news like that banking, short selling ban news, or we get a further catalyst that pops up, then I would start to look at maybe trading the indices. But until we get through CPI, I'm probably going to be looking at more individual names. for the day ahead. Different time frame for different execution. People, short and long term, etc. Love the content, bro. Keep it coming. Peter, thank you. That means a lot to me. Appreciate that, brother. Guys, I do apologize also with the stream. It doesn't look like YouTube sent out the ping notification. So if you're subscribed, if you're not subscribed already, please do consider subscribing. You should get a ping notification every time we go live. For whatever reason today, we did not get that out from YouTube, so I do apologize about that. That being said, this is going to be my top focus setup for the week ahead, guys. This is going to be my top focus setup going into tomorrow morning for Monday. Obviously, price action prior to CPI, probably going to be a little bit more choppy. However, I do think there are some really, really intriguing daily setups out there, guys, and Tesla is my number one watch. Why is Tesla my number one watch, right? Well, you might look at this and say, well, we've got a $6 gap above, mans, right? We've got a ton of room up. We're in the earnings gap. We're going to fill that upside, right? Trust me, that was kind of my initial thought too. I'm like, Tesla looks like a fantastic long coming into this week, but I've honestly been looking at the setup more and more and more. And this actually, to me, is going to be my top short focus. I know a ton of people have this as their top long focus. However, this is going to be my top short focus. I usually honestly do a lot of the execution from my phone. I'll do desktop if it's really busy, but in this market, I'm in like one position. So oftentimes I'll do the phone because I'm also posting screenshots simultaneously, like in the Discord of my fills and what positions I'm in on mobile. So honestly, that is way easier to do for me. It's just to be executing on my phone, posting at the same time. You guys would have no idea how fast my fingers actually move. It's insane. I'm probably like one of the fastest people at filling contracts, taking screenshots, posting my fills and my positions, and then posting them on the private Twitter and the Discord simultaneously. It's insane. I think it's honestly a skill. All right, so here's why I like Tesla short, and I understand that this is going to be an unpopular opinion. But personally, I like Tesla short here. One, because let's talk about the reaction to their earnings, right? Free cash flow is a humongous miss, right? And I'm not going to stand up here and pretend that I'm an expert on earnings fundamentals because I'm not, right? Like my strength is technicals, right? But however, I do know that the reaction to that free cash flow number was very negative, right? We saw the stock drop 10% in a day for crying out loud. So very negative reaction to earnings, right? And while we have demonstrated relative strength, personally, I'm thinking in my mind, do I think that Tesla is going to fill that $7 gap to the upside the Monday before CPI, right? Well, we also have, everything else that is going on right now. Maybe, but I honestly think that you're going to need some type of headline to put through that gap. Maybe it fills it. If I'm wrong, I'll totally own it. However, the trade idea that I have here is off of that 5% up day on Friday. I actually like this for a pullback to the 165.71 level. And I personally think that would line up as a really nice short given where we closed. So I'm going to kind of break down exactly how I'm going to look at this setup going into tomorrow, right? So let's look at that daily setup, right? We've got that clear resistance here, guys. If you look at the high on this candle from that earnings gap down, right, it was that 169.70 level. So that's going to be a very important level that I'm watching, right, is this candle right here from the 20th, okay, 420. We did close just barely over that on the daily, right? And one thing I do want to kind of remind you guys, right, are we in a range-bound market? Yes, absolutely, right? So has, betting on the range break, downside or upside, been a profitable strategy in this market? No, it really often has not, right? Maybe in a couple of sectors, right? Like banks broke to new lows last week, etc. But for the most part, right, the range breaking, which is what we are talking about here, right? After 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 days going on day 13 inside this range for Tesla. Honestly, what do I think is more likely and logical based on the chart? I think that a pullback to 165 makes a lot of sense, right? This was a huge area of resistance, guys, at 165.71. You can identify that this was a huge area of resistance because look at these two very large wicks that we had, right, on the second and on the third, right? We had these very large wicks to the upside at 165.71. And so what I am going to be looking for tomorrow, if we look at a closer time frame like the hourly, right? we can clearly see that we have that support at that 169.70 level. One thing to keep in mind, guys, is look at the movement that we got on that breakout through 170, right? We just couldn't get through that 150, that 170 area, right? Like really, I mean, I'm talking about really get through. Yeah, we closed right at 170, but look at these larger wicks, guys. Every time we would test 170.45, selling, a lot of selling, right? And we just could not get that powerful move. Like we were theoretically in the gap the latter half of Friday, and maybe that was just Friday liquidity, but after a 5% move up on a name that really struggled coming off of earnings, I personally side with the fact that we're not going to fill the $7 gap up and basically make a, like 10% move over the course of 2 days, right? So the idea that I like here is this. If we open tomorrow, right, and I'm going to be watching the first 15-minute candle, what I like is Tesla short against Friday's high, right? So 171. If we close, a 15-minute candle over Friday's high, personally, it's not on my short focus list any longer. However, if we continue to reject at this 170.45, 171 area and start to seep below 169.7, I really like this for a continuation downside play, really towards that 167 target first. Okay, so the downside targets for me would be this, right? I would be basically short against 170.45, if not Friday's high, so 170.79, right? In reality, I would probably look at the 165 puts. My risk would be a 15-minute close over Friday's high or 171. And my targets would be this, right? I'd be looking at 169.07 as take profit 1, 167.57 as take profit 2, and then my third take profit, right, would be that ultimate target down here at 165.71. So why do I like this trade idea? Because the risk is very tight. So my risk reward is high on this, right? Going into it, this fits my metric as an A+ setup because what system has been working in a range-bound market? Fading the top of the range and longing at the bottom of the range, right? So personally, this is the setup that I think fits well to this market's metric. So I'm surprised that you are more of a technical trader and don't do crypto exclusively. Yeah, I'm honestly thinking about getting into crypto definitely a little bit more because yeah. Tesla can be whatever you want it to be. So many narratives. If you can even call it an AI play, you totally could. Yeah, absolutely. This man's a beast. Thanks, bro. Appreciate that, Paul. Thank you guys for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Winston, appreciate you tuning in. Solid Nate, good to see you. So yeah, honestly, guys, like I said, this is not, I'm not looking for any type of like multi-day continuation move here. I'm talking about a $5, the potential for a $5 fade in the first 30 minutes, hour tomorrow, right? I want to illustrate this, guys. I am not a person that's sitting here and saying, like, I have these humongous big picture ideas right now. Most of my ideas right now are 30 minutes to an hour, right? Maybe even, a day at the max, right? Like KRE was one of the first swings I took in a little bit, overnight for one night, right? And it obviously printed over 1,000%. It was an amazing trade, probably my second best trade of the year, right? Definitely in terms of percentage, right? And so those are great, but I'm, my primary focus day in and day out when I come to the desk and get on stream in the morning and I'm trading with everybody live in the Discord is I'm looking for that one A+ setup every single morning. Like that's my focus. Come in, A+ setup. If you try to hit home runs in this market, it's gonna, kick you in the ass. Frankly, like that's as simple and as straightforward as I can be about it. You try to hit home runs, you're gonna get messed up in this market, right? And oftentimes, like KRE, for example, I was holding runners from a bigger position. It ended up being a home run. That's great, right? I'll take home runs when I can get them right now. But I'm not like coming in and being like, I'm looking for a short down to 152 on Tesla, guys. Like I'm talking about like a 2 or 3% pullback, right? Into this 165, 166 area. So I love QQQ. I talked about it though. I said I'll talk about QQQ on Tuesday. I'm gonna do a in-depth dive on QQQ on Tuesday. I'm probably not gonna trade the indices much before CPI. Honestly, I'm probably not gonna trade too much indice action before. ARK's a decent sympathy, but a lot of the growth names have been strong, like Shopify, some of those names. So not super interested in trading ARK short side, right? I just like Tesla here. Again, I'll say this clearly once. My favorite short setups have been failed breakouts to the upside, and the best long setups have been fake breakouts to the downside, right? I think Tesla's actually in a pretty bullish, like broader time frame trend, right? We soaked this dip to 150, right? And we've just been consolidating. Now we're going to try this move up. Personally, I don't care if it ends up filling this gap on Tuesday or Wednesday or Thursday. I'm simply talking about tomorrow, right? I'm betting about the 10% in 2 days right before CPI. Could it happen? Of course. Nothing in this market would surprise me. But this is, to me, a higher probability setup, right? I have no clue if it's going to set up or not. Tesla could have news in pre-market and be at 175 before I blink. But the A+ setup for me, again, is going to be rejections, right? So ideally what I would see tomorrow would be some type of liquidity sweep towards this 170 area. Longs get trapped, and then we fade down, right? That would really be one of my major ones. So the 165 puts are where I'm going to be watching. Maybe even the 168s, or that's kind of like closer to where I want to be. But definitely those two strikes that I'd look at. Where do I get my news? We have a news bot in the Discord. It's just like the feed of Walter Bloomberg. I'm just kidding. We have a couple different sources in there, but I'm not a huge news trader, but obviously we have a scanner for news. Liquidity sweeps where you see basically wicks extend above major support and resistance levels or below. You see liquidity get swept, right? And then oftentimes you'll get a move in the other direction, right? So that's what I'm looking for tomorrow morning on Tesla. Liquidity sweep at the highs and then break down. Yeah, it's dope. So let's talk about the other top focus setup for me, probably on Meta, right? Again, guys, we rallied hard on Friday. I'm not saying that can't continue into tomorrow, right? If we're pushing to the upside, I'm probably going to focus. I would probably focus more on like a QQQ or an S&P if we're pushing up, because I don't personally like a lot of individual setups to the upside right now, right? Like Microsoft is at major monthly resistance if you look at it, right? This is the Microsoft monthly, right? You've got major resistance up here at this 312.88 spot, right? You can see these three big wicks up to 313, 312.88. A lot of resistance up here at 312 on Microsoft, right? So Microsoft looks good, but I personally I'm not going to be looking to long even on shorter time frames at big resistance like that on a monthly time frame. Nvidia is the same way, right? If I was going to look at longs, I'd be looking at longs on Nvidia, but Nvidia is coming up at that 290 monthly resistance. It does look like Nvidia is going to break up, but I would probably need Nvidia to flush down to 282, if not 281, before I looked to get long on Nvidia, honestly. Nvidia has been unstoppable, right? But again, Nvidia also broke out on the weekly. But again, as far as tomorrow and Tuesday go, I would really like to see a retest of that weekly level before getting long, right? I would really like to see that 281 level get retested before going long on Nvidia. So that's why I'm not just coming in here and saying I like Meta, Tesla short because I'm, want to be bearish. I just personally don't think a lot of individual setups look A+ to me in terms of long side trades tomorrow morning. So I'm covering really just Monday and Tuesday here, guys. Everything can change between now and then, and we've got CPI on Wednesday. So yeah, Nvidia has been unstoppable. UVXY flushed like 10% on on Thursday, right? On Friday, 11%. So I don't know. That's, in this market, that's usually been when you're looking to get long VIX, short S&P is when you have those massive updates like that, right? So for the S&P at least. All right, so let's talk about Meta. This is a setup that a lot of people are looking at. So I don't love it as much because there's a lot of eyes on it, whereas I think Tesla, a lot of people are looking to go long. Personally, right, I do think this gap is very enticing. And one of the reasons I like Meta is because it's extremely overextended on the higher time frames. That doesn't mean it can't continue to go up like crazy, right? Price is king. The A+ setup for me on Meta is going to be a little bit different than most people, though, right? I think that a lot of people are going to look for 233 to reject in order to go short. Personally, where I think would be an interesting A+ setup would be against this 235.65 area, right? That's been that larger daily support range. Personally, I would love some type of initial squeeze out to 235 off of the open tomorrow, And then if we get a move to 235, we see sellers come in. The 230 puts would be interesting to me, right? Because everybody's got their eyes on this earnings gap, right? But just like we talked about on Tesla, it's been rare that we've seen these really large continuation moves actually continue, right? I mean, like to be fairly simple about it, we just haven't seen these gap fills really happening, right? Like Tesla comes to mind, right? Tesla defended the gap. We just haven't seen those like really strong continuation moves in either direction really, right? Except for the earnings gap ups. But one reason, like I said, I do think that, Meta is interesting is personally, I would look to play it off of 235 and looking to have my risk at, 236. I really don't have any interest in chasing the gap down, right? It's very difficult in this market, guys, to chase things and for it to work because there's just simply not enough liquidity for these moves to be sustaining multi-day continuation, right? It just hasn't been happening as much, right? Hopefully that makes sense to you guys because I know it's not the easiest thing to kind of get a grasp on, but we're not in 2021 or 2020 anymore. In 2020 or 2021, you would have probably seen Meta fill this gap in, 2 days, but now it'll probably consolidate, print 3 inside days, and then finally either fail or break back up to the upside. So, however, like I said, from a shorter time frame perspective, guys, I do like 2 different levels here on Meta short side. This had a lot of relative weakness on Friday, especially in a really green market. Meta was down a third of 1% and an additional 1/3 of 1% after hours. So these are the 2 levels I'm going to look at really closely on Meta, right? 232.69, so into 233. We'll call it 233 for, shits and gigs, right? I like a move potentially to 233. If we fail at 233, you can see we had larger support on the 15-minute here. Right? We bounced EOD on the 4th at that 233 mark. If we come up to 233, see a rejection, that could be a decent short setup back to 231, maybe even down to 230, which is why I like the 230 puts because that would basically be my target on the trade. And then the other setup that I like is a rejection at 235, right? So for example, if tomorrow we break above 233 and we come up to 234.69, right? I would personally like that really like that from an A+ setup perspective for a short trade off of that level, right? So 234.69 basically would be ideal entry for me, right? Because you can see that we rejected really hard, right? That kill candle on the 5th off of that level, right? Personally, that would be the focus level for me. And the way that I would treat that, right, is basically a stop above highs, right, on the hourly. So I'd be looking, on the 15-minute here, I'd be basically looking at a stop on the short over 235.74, right? And ideally, my entry would be in this 235 range, right? Because we can see that was also a major area of support here back in the morning on the 4th, right? And once we broke 234, you guys can see we broke down clean towards 232, right? So for me, the A+ setup, right, 233 is just not an A+ entry for me in this market. While it may work, and 233 may work really well as a short entry, personally for me, the risk reward is just less because, we've really just got room to 230 on the downside, right? I really like taking my entries, okay, at very strong pivot areas on the 15-minute intraday. That is kind of like really, again, my bread and butter, right, is the 15-minute time frame in terms of entries at least. And then, while I'm in the trade, oftentimes I'll use the 5-minute, but really it's I want to see a rejection at this 235 level, 234.69. That's the spot for me, right? I'd want to see a bounce before taking an entry on the short side there on Meta. So that would be my focus. Early in the week, guys, I'd look at the 2. Wow, I cannot stop burping this morning. I don't know why. Or just get these little hiccups. Gotta hydrate. So that would definitely be the focus for me, right? Would be entry at 235 on the short side. I would look for a move, be targeting a move basically back down to 230. Take profits would be 233 and then 230.08, right? Probably look to take some gains off the table at that 231 spot as well. So those are my top 2 focus setups for tomorrow, guys. Meta, Tesla, both are short focus setups primarily for me. If I don't see an A-plus trade, I'm not going to force things, as always in this market. It's really about waiting for your pitch in this market, guys, and really attacking when you see it, right? That's the big one, and taking full advantage. Right, and that's, assuming we don't gap down, right? So on a 15-minute time frame, a bouncer rejection at 234. So basically, I would be looking if we're looking at the 15-minute right now, right, I would be looking for a rejection at that 234.69 area on the 15-minute. If we see sellers come in, ideally, what I would like to see would be large wicks up towards this 234 area on the 15-minute, and then I would base my entry off of that, right? Get large selling pressure, those larger scale wicks to the upside indicate that we have sellers present. I'd be looking to take an entry off of a rejection at 234.69, right? And basically, my risk above, right, would be basically 235.74, right? Pre-market high from the 5th. So that would be how that trade would look for me. And again, the take profits for me. So if I entered at 234.69, in a dream world, my take profit one would be 233, to be just call it easy, and then 231.5, and then 230, right? And then hold runners. That would be how that trade would look for me in a dream situation. What's going on, guys? Good to see everybody in the chat. Really nice showing for a Sunday night. I know it's late. We're going to keep going for about 15 more minutes, guys. Really thank everybody for tuning in. We've covered 3 setups so far. S&P 500. We talked about the banks a little bit. We talked about Meta. We talked about Tesla. And for the last 15 minutes, guys, I'm going to kind of let you guys ask any particular questions you have. If there's any questions you have or charts you want me to look at quickly, I'll do my best to kind of cover some things these last 15 minutes. Yeah, QQQ is a good one, right? I mean, so here's what I'm thinking in terms of QQQ right now. I personally like the S&P 500 a little bit more from a daily perspective. This is just a mess, man. We have been in this range for so damn long. It's incredible. I mean, honestly, I think we were at day 18 here. So we're probably approaching day 23 or 24 in a $10 range, right? The way that I kind of look at this chart right now, and it kind of goes back to what I was saying about Tesla, is I just don't know if we're going to truly break through the top of this range, right? Which to me would be towards that 323.6 area prior to CPI, right? So that is why going into tomorrow, my primary focus on the Qs and a lot of the tech names, right, hence the Tesla and Meta discussion, is primarily to the downside, right? So primarily looking at short scalp setups for Monday and Tuesday, or at least for tomorrow, because we are at the top of that range on the QQQ daily. Yeah, I will look at that. What's going on, guys? Do I only trade the first hour and a half of the market? Depends on the day. So really, I like to be done in terms of hitting my goal by 10:30, 11. And so this is the way that I'm trading in this market. If there's a setup that I want to take after the first hour and a half, and I'm green on the day, I can only risk half of my profits at most, right? And really, I try to keep it more 30 to 40%. And so, yes, my size comes down substantially, and really this has been a 1 or 2 trade a day market for me, right? I'm still in the Discord kind of giving my thoughts on things, and if I see a trade present itself, I'm definitely going to take advantage of it. That's an A-plus setup, but for the most part, I'm trying to get away from the desk a little bit more, especially during lunch hours, just because the action has been so kind of range-bound. What strike on Meta? Definitely looking at those 230 puts on Meta. Yeah, coin is a good one. This is actually kind of it's not funny, but I got burned on Coin Friday. I was right about the move in terms of direction. I took a lotto on the $60 calls off of the earnings flush, and we got a $3.50 move up, and I ended up losing on the trade, right? Which sucked, but I took an entry, guys, if you want to look at the 5-minute. I actually had a really nice entry, too. It was just the theta just absolutely killed. I got burned so hard from theta on Friday. So if you guys say I don't talk about my losses, I'm talking about one right there. On Friday, I took a trade on the Coin 60C Lotto. I took an entry on that 935 and a 940 candle, right, at this 54.26 area. We gapped all the way to 58, and my 60C lottos only got back to like just under break even. So, if you took any strike under the 59 calls, I think they printed really nicely. But I was a little ambitious, with the 60C, but I really thought coin had a fantastic earnings. And I knew that the overall market looked really primed for an upside move. So, like I said, premiums just didn't work in my favor that day. It's cool. But, like I said, it was the first and only true loss I took last week in terms of, idea-wise, right? I took one other lotto loss on Rivian, but last week was nearly perfect for me. So, yeah, I saw the Binance news. That's definitely big deal. You have 2 different tiers on your Patreon. Both seem to offer the same benefits. Yep, so there's 2 tiers open. There's the promo tier, which is 25% off. That's open for the first 7 days of the month, so it's going to close tonight. It's just $25 cheap or $29 cheaper for the month, just if you sign up during that first week. So we opened like 150 spots in that promo tier. I think there's like 10 or 11 left. So if you guys wanted a Discord invite, I know there was a few people. If I didn't get back to your DM this weekend, guys, just shoot me a DM on Twitter. You can text me or DM me the word May, and I will send you an invite when I get off the stream in like 12 minutes. So if I missed you or if I didn't get back to you, just shoot me an invite and I'll get back to you. So, we live trade every single morning from 9:30 to 11. And yeah. Yep, exactly. Yeah, exactly. I'm honestly hoping that the market heats up so that I'm not golfing as much because I'd like to be trading more. The only reason that I've been golfing and getting out of the house is because the market has frankly just been a base hit market, one and done type of day. But it's heating up for sure. Options are getting a lot better over the past week. You look at Greeks before taking a position. Yeah, I'm always going to look at the IV, right? Because I hate buying stuff with really bloated IVs. But honestly, a lot of the time, guys, I'm scalping contracts for 15 minutes, and sometimes shorter than that, right? Like some of my trades are 10 minutes long, not even. So, a lot of the time the Greeks are of little bit less importance to me, but I'm always going to take a peek at them before market open if I have my eyes on them. What's the name of my dog? His name is Boone with a B. It's the goodest boy ever. So that's my thoughts on coin. Roblox earnings. Yeah, it should be interesting. I think Roblox usage has definitely been pretty impressive over their past few reports. I don't have a, great A+ understanding of their fundamental background, so I'm not going to sit up here and tell you I think it's going to go one way or another, but it's definitely an earnings report that I'm going to pay really close attention to. Yeah, we go over the Greeks some. Like I said, there's a lot of other great resources to learn about the Greeks on YouTube, Twitter as well. So I would always take advantage of those free resources. And then if you have any specific questions, I always do my best to answer them. Did I catch the AMD news on Thursday? No, but Snap Your Charts, who's one of the mods in our Discord and just one of the better traders probably on the FinTwit app, did catch it, and a lot of people caught it with him. So that was really sick. I think they all had like 500-600%. I had total FOMO of AMD on Thursday, but I had just taken KRE for 1,000% swing overnight, so I had a little bit less FOMO because I had a 10-bagger of my own. So definitely a little bit less. How often do I post to YouTube? Pretty much once a week in terms of videos, but shorts we try to post like 2-3 times a week. So yeah, of course. Yeah, guys. So honestly, like I said, guys, that's kind of, my focus for the week ahead right now. Like I mentioned, we are going to do a CPI stream on Tuesday. I really think that that's going to be kind of the stream where I'm going to try to get a little bit more in depth. We're going to do about 90 minutes of a review on Tuesday night. We're going to cover everything in terms of, what I'm looking at in terms of the CPI number. We'll talk a little bit more about some, more clear focus setups. I think the market's going to kind of digest this past week. We've got a really interesting setup on the S&P 500 on the weekly. So ideally, Monday and Tuesday sets us up for the rest of the week. We've got a backloaded half of the week. So I think it's going to be a really eventful week. I think we should have some really fun A+ setups, and it's a really nice time to see options market heating up as a whole. So yeah, of course. Do you have a Discord for free, or is that just general stock talk? I don't have a free Discord. Like I said, my Discord's like $3 a day, guys. If you break it down over a month, it's like $99 a month. It's basically $3 a day. We live stream every single morning, do the pre-market live, which is 20 minutes long, and then we transfer into live trading for an hour and a half, and then like I said, there's a lot of other educational streams and videos that we do as well, in addition to all the live trading. So gold and DXY, I don't know. I don't personally like either chart. So we will be live on Tuesday night at 8:45. Hopefully I will see you guys all there. I really appreciate everybody tuning in. 400 people tuned in tonight for a 9 o'clock stream on a Sunday. I really appreciate it. We covered Tesla, Meta, S&P 500, talked about that banking news. Hopefully tonight was beneficial for you guys. Hopefully tonight brought you guys some value. I really hope that you guys enjoyed the stream. Like I said, if you were looking for a DM back, please just shoot me a DM tonight. I'll try to get a response over to you in the next hour or so. Exactly. It's a cup of coffee a day. So I appreciate everybody that's joined up. It's going to be an awesome week inside the Discord. Can't wait to trade live with everybody first thing tomorrow morning. I'll see everybody in the Discord on the pre-market live, guys. Really appreciate you guys tuning in as well. And I will see you guys in the live trading stream tomorrow. And then as far as the public stream goes, Tuesday night, 8:45 Eastern Standard Time. And I will see you guys there. Peace.